Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board Committee meeting of this Monday, June 4th. Can we begin with a roll call, please?
Ms. Coble? Here. Ms. Cohen had said she would be able to attend. Mr. Each also is excused. Ms. Estime Irvin? Present. Ms. Geimer? Mr. McDermott?
Present.
Dr. Melian is unwell. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Present.
And Ms. Couch?
Yes.
We have quorum.
Okay, can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of May 7th?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving right into our agenda items. Agenda item 1.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the voluminous package. Unfortunately, we had a lot of requests. Two of the items on the agenda, they have companion items, so I'm going to walk you through it. The first agenda item is Flag Lady, Inc. Ms. Barbara Dabney is here. Oh, right here, I'm sorry. And also, I apologize because my glasses broke like right before the meeting, so I'm only using one part of it. All right, Flag Lady Inc., located at 13886 West Dixie Highway. You are all familiar with that property along West Dixie. Well, no, the property is owned by Flag Lady. Yeah, and the other property that I'll be presenting to you is owned by Fair Lady.
They're the same owners, but
Different
two
companies.
different companies, right? Are they
Yes.
two different, well, obviously, they're two different buildings too, right?
There are two different folios,
Folios.
two different everythings, and that's the reason why we have to do it that way. So Flag Lady Inc., located at 13886 West Dixie Highway, that's where they used to have the Fakich Variety Store. It's at the corner, the tip of the building. They're applying for a rehab grant to redo the building, interior, exterior paint, new flooring, like fixtures, impact windows and doors, security installation, and signage. Ms. Dabney has a rendering. I know the package is voluminous, but if you could just show them what you're aspiring to do. So this is the overall package that she's trying to present. And the front, this is the corner where right now the former Fakich Variety, the yellow storefront, and then the other application is for where she has her flag business, and the other application is for that. So it's gonna look like one cohesive exterior rehab, and this is what it is that she's applying for.
Do you actually have a tenant here yet? Not yet, okay.
But she needs to renovate it so that she can get a good quality tenant. All right, thank you so much. All right, she has presented bids. For this particular property, the lowest bidded amount is $277,065 from Miami Skyline. There are no active violations on file. As you know, part of the rehab grant, the maximum you can ask for is $100,000. So staff is recommending the $100,000 match, so that it can beautify and enhance that particular corridor. Like I said, Ms. Dabney's here if you have any questions. The other item, the reason why we have to do it this way again, because it's two different properties, two different folios, so they're companions to each other, but you need to vote individually for them because the grant agreement is going to be tied to each property. So if you have any questions, you can ask Ms. Dabney now. If not, then I can.
Okay, you want to come up and introduce yourself?
Why don't we go through the other one also, so, and then we can.
Well, we're
vote on
supposed to
them
do it,
separately.
we're supposed to do it
Yeah,
separately,
Separate,
yeah.
so in case anybody has questions.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Barbara Dabney, and obviously president and owner of these two properties.
Okay. Want to tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do?
Well, the whole strip mall, basically what is there is pretty blighted, and it's not uniform. It's been chopped up through the years, and with the drawing you can see we're trying to make a uniform facade down the entire length of the building so that it looks modern and brought up to date into the 2000s. And I'm going to be an owner-user in the middle property. I don't intend to leave. That's going to be mine. and I operate Freedom Flag and Banner. And the corner will be rented out, and I'm leaving the options kind of open there depending on how much square footage they need. It used to be Marcella's Restaurant years ago, and it is been morphed into, when Richards had it, they had their vertical blinds in that building there. And then the last one was the variety store that failed, so.
Okay, very good. Does anybody have any questions? Do we have a motion to approve for grant? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. The second, we have to do separate.
Right.
The second item is 13870 West Dixie, Fair Play, doing business as Freedom Flag and Banner Company, retail and wholesale flag, banner, and flagpole facility. They serve locally, internationally, and again, this is the companion to the previous item. This one is for interior renovations and exterior renovations to match not only the exterior renovation, but also to give the inside a new facelift and modernize it. The total cost of the bid, the lowest bidded amount was $135,885. 50% of that, as per our rehab guidelines, would be $67,942.50. Staff recommends approval. If you have any questions, again, Ms. Dabney is here.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Motion to
I have a
accept?
question.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez has a question, go ahead.
Are the two business in the same building? Together, door to door, because that's what it looks to me.
It's two different property folios, and one, she has her business in there. The second one, the one that I just told you about, it
Two
has it.
business, they are together, right?
Yes.
They are together.
Yeah, but it's not
That's
the
in
same
one
building.
They're together, but they're two separate buildings.
They're two separate
Right.
buildings.
I don't understand that.
Okay, let me give you an example. You see right here where we have the Cafe Creme? Clark is the owner of that property. Next to him, he has Billy's Pub. That's a different owner. So here you have two different owners for some reason, two different property folio numbers, even though the building looks
But in
Like
this
the same.
case, it's the same owner.
same individual, two different companies.
I don't get it. I get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it, but I get it. It's one person receiving more than 100,000.
No, it's
That's
two
what I
different
see.
folios.
I see what Mr. Claudio is
Yeah.
saying. So
Mhm.
what is the rule that maybe we need to understand? What is the?
The first grant application, she applied as a property owner, right? The corner lot where Fakij Variety was, she applied as a property owner, she's rehabbing it, and she's gonna bring in a tenant. The building next to her, where she has the flag business, she is the owner and operator. She's applying as the business operator for a grant. So it's two different formats. The other space is gonna be occupied by a tenant that she's required to have within 180 days once the rehab is done.
So I hope that makes it clear to you, Mr. Claudio, because
No, it didn't
it
clear
still doesn't clear
anything.
it up? Okay,
He didn't clear anything.
because the only.
The majority approve it,
Yeah.
I didn't
It
approve
just
it.
so happens.
I don't approve that.
Okay,
It's the same owner, it's the same business.
Right,
It
but if
doesn't
it
matter
was-
how you masquerade that.
right, but if it was a different owner, it would still be the same procedure. And as long as, Mr. Attorney, I don't know if you want to share some light on.
Well, from a physical perspective, and you know, unfortunately, the agenda package doesn't have numbers, but there's a photograph here that's on each of your packages. The building is actually separate. They're
Right.
distinct, separate buildings. What I understand her proposal is, she's gonna make it look like one and unified series of buildings. So, under the rules that you all have, she can apply for each individual lot, each individual building, because they are under separate ownership, separate corporate entities, and the purpose for which she's rehabbing them to some degree is also different. One is, as staff has indicated, to occupy as a business, and the other one is to remodel for rental purposes moving forward. You know, it's, you know, it is what it is. It's allowed under the existing rules, but, you know, if one particular board member believes that's, you know, philosophically that's not appropriate, that's certainly each individual member's opinion.
So for the record, I just want to state that I'm just very excited that anyone that lives, I live in that district, and I'm very excited that there's some redevelopment going on. That's why I wanted to make sure on the record that it's allowed, and I understand what's going on, and we need it. We need it to, you know, to attract businesses, to attract,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
all
we
part
need
of,
it.
yeah, I
We
think
need
it's
to
all
clean up
part of
that
the plan.
corridor.
Right,
Yeah.
It's the
right.
plan for the upgrading the corridor.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem.
Okay,
So I
All
make my
right.
motion.
she has a motion, do we have a
And
second?
Ms. Geimer had no, Ms. Blanca, Blanco.
Okay,
Cobo.
all right, unless there's any further discussion, do we, everyone who's in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
The third and fourth item are also companion items. 126 Dixie Inc. This is the new owner of the old Miami Way Theater. There are, again, two different folios, two different buildings, and that there's a separation by a parking lot, if
Right.
that kind of helps.
Yes, we know it well.
Mr. Jay Goldman is here. He is Vice President of the 126 Dixie Inc. The first grant application, I'm sorry, again with my glasses, I can't seem to flip the page and read at the same time. Here we go. Somebody else's glasses. All right, 12615 West Dixie Highway. Like I said, they just recently acquired it. They are now in the process of renovating it. They are also working with, can I say O Cinema?
I'm Chris Savage, my partner
Okay.
Jay
Yeah.
took his daughter to college.
Okay.
So I'm just here, just to
Okay,
get that
but
right.
is it O Cinema? Is it-
Yes.
Okay.
Both sit
So
in from-
they are in negotiations with O Cinema to do a long-term lease for them to move in to the space that you see here. Again, Mr. Goldman is not here, but his partner is here in case you have any additional questions. The renovation is to do exterior paint, signage, in front of the building as the old marquee. They want to renovate it and make it part of the old marquee
We're trying
look.
to keep it like the old North Miami history.
Come on,
You
yeah.
got the,
I'm sorry.
you can't speak up like that.
Hi, everybody. No, we're just trying to keep the building to its natural state because it's one of the oldest things that we have left in the neighborhood.
Can you please state your name?
Oh, Christopher Savitz.
And you,
Hey,
Your relationship to the
I'm
applicant?
one of the owners.
Okay.
And your
And
address?
your address,
Of
12615 West Dixie.
my office address or
that's fine, like the property address.
12050 Northeast 14th Ave. Sorry.
Again, like I said, they presented 3 bids. The lowest bidded amount was $267,375. Again, as part of the rehab grant, we can't allocate no more than $100,000. Staff recommends approval. Not only is this a great improvement to that corridor, but being able to bring in an arts component to our corridor that we've been looking for is a great asset.
I think it's marvelous. I've been
Yeah.
wanting something good to come to that building for many years.
For how long have I been here?
Yes.
15 years?
Yeah.
I've been looking at it.
everybody has.
Yeah.
So what are they
Right.
gonna be doing with it,
So
Chris?
this one is just the exterior renovation of that building. They're gonna be redoing the roof, painting, signage, light fixtures, impact windows and doors, and the landscaping for that building. Now remember that there's a companion to it, there's the
Right.
other building. So, but for now, this is what they're gonna be
So
doing.
this
What are you
is
gonna be
the
doing
owner.
what are you gonna be doing inside?
This is the,
Yeah, I'm
O
interested in
Cinema.
the interior.
Well,
Yeah, theater.
The main thing is to get the outside. O Cinema, when they come in, they're going to do the inside because they're going to make like 3 from what I understand, that they want to have 3 separate theaters inside.
Really?
And where are they getting their money?
that's part of their
Is,
negotiations.
Chris, is there
for
really
long-term
room
lease.
for 3 theaters?
Yes, if you break it up, there is. You'd be
Okay,
surprised
really?
the building's
I
pretty long.
understand they've got Dade County grant and they've got the county cultural arts
Mm-hmm,
behind them, so I guess they'll have money, I guess.
okay.
Go ahead.
No, they're in Wynwood right now. The one in the shores is the Anson family. That's
Right.
still there.
That's still.
the old Miami Shores Theater.
Yeah, that's a community theater now, isn't it, basically?
Yeah. Well, they have, my daughter went to programs there during the summer. They have programs for the kids to do dance and, you know, they make, oh, it's pretty neat what they do there.
Okay, is there any other questions of Mr. Savas?
Well, at least the outside will look better, maybe the inside.
Yeah, exactly. And that,
Just for the, understand, for the record, again, as property owners, this grant has strings attached. Once the rehab is done, they are required to have it leased out by a certain time
Right.
frame, or else, you know, they forfeit the grant.
Right.
So it is in the agreement, and they're not just gonna paint it and make it look nice. It is in their best interest to
well, I'm
get that
sure from what,
part done.
what he says, that'll happen.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so we have.
Okay, I'll wait right
All
here.
right, any other questions from Mr. Savas?
Mr. Sanchez has a question.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Don't be
do,
afraid.
No, your hand was up. Vote on it.
Gotta love it.
so anyway, so we have a motion to approve?
I do.
All right,
All
yeah,
right.
Okay.
Second.
okay,
I
second,
Okay.
all right, so, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay, thank you, Chris, that's gonna be great.
Thank you, everybody.
So the
I'll keep you guys in.
second item, you can stay right there. The
Yeah,
second
yeah, don't
item,
move.
Okay.
Again, is for 12625 West Dixie Highway. Again, it's the same, it's a different folio, different building next to it. This one, I understand that they're working with another nonprofit arts group for a long-term lease. You know, I don't know if they can make it official yet or not, because they're still negotiating the terms, but it's a companion art kind of venture as this. Again, this is for the exterior renovations. Let me put on my glasses so I can read it on the record, I'm sorry. The scope includes, exterior paint, signage, light fixtures, impact windows, and landscaping. The lowest bidded amount was $146,740. So again, 50% of that is $73,370. Staff recommends approval, and if you have any questions for the owners, but we think it's a beautiful addition, and it's gonna do
Well,
wonderful things.
it's a great thing to have at the entranceway of our city. And in a way, it's sort of like fulfilling Philip Michael Thomas's dream of many years ago, when he wanted to convert, Kevin was here then, when we wanted to convert that theater and have like a little arts district along West Dixie, remember that? So it's sort of interesting that that's coming to fruition, and what a great thing to have at the entrance of our city.
And plus, you have the
You know.
municipal parking across the street too, so
Yeah.
if they have venues, there's
Yep.
actual adequate parking for people to park.
Yeah.
We make a
very
nice
good.
thing.
Congratulations.
No,
Chris.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you. If there's not any further questions, can we have a motion to approve? Okay. Okay, if not any further questions, all in favor? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, congratulations.
I can sit now?
Tuesday at 5:30. Thank you very much. All right, no problem. All right, the last grant application for tonight and for this fiscal year is from Arterial LLC. It's a beautification and enhancement grant request. They are located at 799 Northeast 125th Street. That's where Stripes is, right here at the corner across the street.
Right.
They have other tenants. So we've been working with them to try to help enhance that corridor, and they are one of the property owners that was able to come and meet with us and work with us. So their grant request is to paint the exterior, light fixtures, awning replacement, pressure clean the existing exterior tile, because outside of the building it's tile, not, paint. So to pressure clean it, asphalt, repavement, and restriping of the parking lot. The lowest bidded amount for all these was $22,579.37. Under the beautification and enhancement grant, it's up to $25,000, and this is actually under the 25. Staff recommends approval. The representatives for Arterial are here. They are the managers of the entity, and they are here if you have any questions.
Okay, where are they? Oh, hi. Can you come and give us your name and address and?
Yes, and my name is Sophia Bullrich. I'm here representing Arterial LLC. We're located on 799 Northeast 125th Street. And I'm here for beautification of the building.
I think it's a great project. Very
It's
nice.
much needed.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're almost ready to adjourn.
Yeah, really.
I heard thunder.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of her?
No question.
Okay. All right, so do I hear a
Thank you.
motion to approve the grant?
Second.
Second, and then barring any further questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right. We have two more items.
Okay.
I'm waiting on our procurement director to come down the aisle to present the two items. I'm very happy that we're finally able to get a resolution for the Mocha Plaza renovation. It took a little bit longer, through the bidding process to get the proper contractor and so on and so forth. And so, Mr. Geimer, our project manager, is here as well, if you wanna, harass it a little.
No, we wouldn't harass
No?
you.
Okay. For the record, Mr. Destrade.
I've already made my harassment about this project.
All right, well,
1 year, now 2 years too late. I mean, 2 years after it was supposed to be done.
okay, good evening, board members. Alberto Estrade from the Purchasing Department. The item that you have before you is quite simply a recommendation to award the bid that was issued by our office for the Mocha Plaza renovation project. This is solicitation number IFB 331718. This was a bid that was issued in March 9th of this year. As you can see in the report, in response to this bid solicitation, there were 13 proposals or 13 bids, and these are all obviously sealed bids that were submitted. So the solicitation and the pricing of this project was quite competitive, as you can see. The lowest responsive and responsible bidder is the company PE Services LLC, and the amount of the bid that is being recommended to be awarded is $856,820. The anticipated duration for this project is 120 days from issuance of a notice to proceed, so approximately 4 months to complete this project. It's the timeline is a little tight, but that's what the contractor has committed to. In terms of the actual work itself, I'd like to give an opportunity to Mr. Jeff Geimer, who is the project manager and who's been very involved in really steering this project in this direction. And we wouldn't be at this point if it wasn't for his participation and effort. Jeff?
Thank you, Alberto. Good evening, Jeff Geimer, Capital Project Manager, on behalf of the City of North Miami. As Alberto said, the project's taken a little while to come through fruition. This was actually the second time we've had to bid the project, so it did take much longer than anticipated on the through the bidding process. But the scope of the work has not changed from when I originally presented it to you. You know, pavers, trees, lighting. It's really going to be a beautiful project when it's all said and done. But as for the scope of the work, it did remain the same. And if there's any questions about the project in general, I can answer those questions before Alberto finishes up.
Let's just get on with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a long haul.
It really has, yeah.
The lighting was one of the main issues with this, and the lighting came in about 40% of the project. So the lighting should be extremely nice when it's all said and done.
That's great. That's a great beacon for downtown.
So, motion to approve.
Wait a minute, he has something.
Well, no, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Motion to approve second.
Wait a minute, you can't do both.
You said
Remember,
motion
he
to
was-
approve.
I said motion to
second.
approve.
He
Okay.
was waiting for 2 years.
Okay.
I've been waiting for two or three?
Three.
Three. I've been waiting for 3 years.
Okay, so you got your second
I
in.
got my second.
Okay,
I will say
all right.
yes.
You will say yes.
Ask the question.
Don't put your hand up. It didn't-
Don't put your hand
Yeah, right.
Okay, with no further questions, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
gentlemen. At
Thank you,
last,
board
at
members.
last.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I am promoted.
Yeah.
Next item, Mr. Destrade.
Okay, I believe now we have,
One more item before reports.
yes, okay.
Okay, the item before you, I believe this is item 7, I believe, on the agenda.
Yes,
It's simply a recommendation for the board to recommend approval of an agreement with the professional consulting firm AECOM to provide high-definition 3D laser surveying services for the Northeast 125th Street corridor. Specifically, the area that we're talking about is for the area of Northeast 125th Street and the alley north of and parallel with Northeast 125th Street between West Dixie Highway, Northeast 6th Avenue and Northeast 10th Avenue. And by the way, I'm reading directly from the report that's submitted to you. It's under the scope of work in the report. There are essentially 2 tasks that are before you. Just simply task A, which I just described for high definition 3D laser scanning, and task C, which is for optional services for design visualization conceptual rendering, which is an optional services. Task B, if you will note, is not a part of this application, is not a part of this recommendation. So for task A and C, it is a proposed not to exceed fee of $40,825. The actual description itself of these services is in the attachments to the report itself, and you can read it for yourself. It's quite specific. In terms of the work itself, for task A, and again I'm reading from the second page of the report, is estimated to be completed within 7 weeks of notice to proceed, and task C would be completed within 5 weeks of notice to proceed. This work is really has been requested from AECOM by the city administration in order to prepare and provide planning for several infrastructure enhancement projects that are envisioned along Northeast 125th Street corridor. So this is really to provide some initial information for the administration. So the recommendation before you, again, is to approve an agreement with AECOM for a not to exceed amount of $40,825. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
okay.
I'd like to add to what Mr. Destrade is saying. The manager, the reason why we're doing this is it's actually 2 parts. We're covering the portion that's within the CRA, and the city will be taking care of the part that is east of Biscayne, which is within the city proper. The idea is, apart from using the current design codes and infrastructure codes that we have, but for us to have a proper visualization, a 3D visual of what the redeveloped downtown will look like. A lot of times when we're dealing with redevelopment projects and so on, people can't see or visualize what are in the codes and what is it we can do. That's 1 for the developer, but 2 also for the community, for them to understand this is what we're trying to do for the downtown. So presenting a proper 3D elevation with all the codes and the infrastructure and so on along the corridor. So it would be from West Dixie Northeast 6, which is our downtown, all the way going east. Like I said, we are covering the portion that's within the CRA boundaries, and then the city has their portion for them going east all the way to, I think, the city limits, if I'm not mistaken, right before the bridge. So
Okay.
it's one of these tools that we need to use, and most cities have been using them to help us visualize what the development should be based on the codes, based on the infrastructure that we have, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Is there any questions that we have? Yes.
Is this gonna be available, this visualization, is it available to the citizens?
Yeah.
So you'll find it on the website, or what?
Well, I don't know how what the mechanism will be, but I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it'll be on our website for you to see the rendering that they produced. It's not like they're giving us the software.
Okay.
But whatever
Right.
they do, yes, it'll be available on our website for you to see what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
I'd like to make one comment. I mean, we've had mini charrettes, we've had renderings, we've had study after study. We have a whole plan for downtown, we have a whole plan for the plaza, we have a whole plan for a garage. I've been here 11 years, I haven't seen a single redevelopment project by the city in that entire time. I have seen plans and plans and plans. I mean, the mayor goes to his lunches and he puts these renderings up about the things we're gonna do. I don't see anything happening. I mean, what the heck? Now we do more projects, laser, gonna do laser imaging for this supposed things we're gonna do. Well, why don't we just do something? We don't do anything. We don't do a single redevelopment project, and we have spent, I don't know, $25 million at this point. I mean, how much have we spent,
Not
Rasha?
25 million.
How much?
I don't know, I can't tell off the top of my head. No.
10? 19?
On what?
Oh, I mean, the
Yeah,
things
it's a
we
lot.
do are
On
important,
what?
and especially the grants we give out are having an impact.
Right.
I do understand that. But one of the purposes, one of the main purposes of CRA is to do large-scale redevelopment projects. We don't do anything. I mean, we're supposed to have a garage. I mean, I have a property that's there, that's on the site, that I was told to get ready for 2 years ago.
Well, it's coming.
And it's not coming. There's nothing coming. There is nothing that I can see. So, I mean, I just think it's all bunk and bull, and I just have to say my frustration. We don't do what we're supposed to do.
So, if you could address what he's saying,
Well-
and I'd like to add to it.
Sure.
So once this drawing, this rendering is done, what is the plan?
Well,
And
There is no
how
plan.
just,
soon- and
well,
how soon?
no, there
There
is,
is no plan.
well,
There's
if I may, Clark, I mean, I hear your concerns, obviously. I can't speak to what's happened in the past. All I can tell you is that this administration definitely has a vision, as Rasha.
As the
I think-
visions have been in the past, it's always a vision, there is no action.
But I'm sorry, with all due respect, Clark,
Okay,
that's something that you need to take up with the
But
governing
no, I think it
body,
needs to be on the
because-
record.
No, I understand that, but this is not something that we are, as staff, we are preparing the package, we're working on the vision, and we're actually trying to implement as best as we can.
I
The
understand, there's not
policymakers-
an issue with this particular project. The issue is, why are we doing more planning when we won't do anything with what we've got?
I agree with that.
Like the FIU stuff,
The FIU stuff.
whatever they were gonna do.
The housing study, they finally just signed the contract and they're working on the assessment. I mean,
So I-
it's, those are not things that we can come up and work as.
Yeah, and with the
as-
FIU thing, there was some negotiations going on and that kind of
And
thing.
they're now
But let's,
working on it.
can
But
we
I-
stick to this
And
particular
we are,
project?
but I think it's valid what Clark is saying.
Oh, no,
What he's
I
saying is
listen,
extremely
I
valid,
think
and that point
everybody has
needs
been
to be
frustrated
taken
over
to
the years, yeah.
administration, to the elected bodies.
Let's stop
because-
planning and let's start
it's a good
doing
point.
something. It's been 11 years.
I second.
Clark,
What do you-
so noted,
Okay.
so noted.
That was good.
Okay, as to this particular project, is there any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
You up?
Yes, I'm gonna.
I second.
Okay,
How we
all
gonna
in
do
favor
it?
say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
No,
opposed?
I'm opposed, no.
Okay, okay,
Oh, you go back?
I'll go back, no.
I go back too,
oh,
because I agree with him one
So I
hundred
need, I
percent.
need someone else for the
And
second.
I vote,
I'll
Does it have
second
to
that.
be-
No, cause he,
no, I refuse to say,
Oh,
and
I'll second.
reverse.
so it's 5-2.
okay.
No. He
He withdrew his.
withdrew his second, so there's no, there's just the motion
And
needs to be
Ms. Colville.
seconded,
Yeah,
so
Ms.
then.
Colville.
Ms. Colville
Ms.
just
Oh,
Colville
I'm sorry.
seconded. She seconded,
I'm not.
yeah.
Okay.
okay,
We have to get it going somehow.
Yeah.
okay.
But I encourage you to speak to the administration and the policymakers.
I have spoken to
To-
them
Ad nauseam.
ad infinitum.
Well,
We have our own
there's some that we didn't have before when the other things were going on.
Wait a minute, we got this thing, we went to bat to get CRA reinstated a year ago, and we don't have anything yet about redevelopment, nothing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that's my point. You know, and I don't hear anything, and that was the whole plan. Okay, we need to do it, we're gonna do redevelopment,
Well,
we're
we-
gonna do a garage right away.
Yeah,
And
well,
then there's
we
nothing.
there was an attempt, though. We had a bond issue, and it didn't fare well,
But-
so.
But the CRA can, my understanding is the CRA can engage in.
The CRA's not
That's
hooked to the
our
bond issue,
mandate.
that's the city.
Right,
That's
right,
Yeah.
right.
mandate
I'm not
for
talking about the
CRA,
bond
right?
issue.
No,
I'm
but he's
about
talking, he's
redevelopment.
talking about the city and the CRA in general, not just.
What,
Hmm?
What, within your power is the ability to provide funding for, I'm sorry, it's obviously to provide funding and guidance on, well, sorry, this body's authority or power is to provide recommendations to the governing body, the CRA. The CRA obviously has the authority to take those recommendations and implement them as they see fit within the available funding mechanisms available to the CRA.
Okay.
We're also mandated by the county to do a major redevelopment project in the near future or be sunset.
Right.
You know that, right?
Right.
Yes,
For the record, that is one of the achievements that we have,
We
benchmarks that we have to do by
achieve that, or we are sunsetted
There.
by 2024, is that
Okay,
right?
it's one of the achievements that we need to achieve by 2024, one of several, just to be clear.
Okay.
so then, it's a good conversation that we're having, and maybe, I mean, the new budget is coming in October, and maybe staff, I mean, I guess advisory board is saying, you know, look out for those projects, those major projects, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Well, I think that, you know, we do have a new administration, and I think they've been working very hard, and I think that, yeah, and I think they're very talented people, so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in the process.
And I think this is,
Well, I have,
I
no, I
do,
have,
I
I
do,
have
Clark.
faith in, I have
I
faith
don't
in
have
the
faith
current people.
anymore, I don't.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we've turned it around in the last,
Yes,
less than
definitely.
24 hours. It's
Yeah.
a huge turnaround. You're starting to
Yeah.
see the little impacts. I understand your frustration, I even agree,
Okay.
but I believe in you. I believe
Yeah.
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, and I think with the current staff in place who are pretty smart people and realize the pressure they're under and things, and they just want to get things done just by their nature. So I think there's things in the pike that are coming, so as you say, I have faith that it's gonna happen. So, anyway, thank you very much, sir.
thank you very much, board members.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Do you have a report?
No.
Okay. Okay, we have Chief Beige, who wants to come talk to us about the downtown.
What's happening with that camera system?
I'm gonna get to it. It's in the report. We actually took some action.
Oh.
So we're actually people of action.
Spend your money, Clark.
Yeah, we're people of action in the police department. Good evening, Robert Page, City of North Miami Police Department Assistant Chief. And I've come first to talk about the two details, the Northwest Corridor detail and the downtown detail. And I'll start with the Northwest Corridor detail. The Northwest Corridor detail goes from Northwest 10th Ave to 95, which is 6th Court, from 119th Street to 125th Street. Kind of makes an L shape, which encompasses that lower southern corner of the CRA commercial area. And in that period, from January 1st through March 31st, they made 295 business contacts where they engaged business owners in conversation about safety and crime prevention. In addition, they performed 608 business checks, answered 4 calls for service, and made contact with 662 people visiting the Northwest CRA area. Some of the highlights, they patrolled AutoZone parking lot. They have a lot of illegal mechanic work that goes on in the AutoZone parking lot. So they help code enforcement with the illegal mechanic work that's being done in the AutoZone parking lot. They issued several trespass warnings when management had called them to the ShopRite Plaza. That's the plaza where Kentucky Fried Chicken, the AutoZone, and the 99-cent store are all in that plaza. They recovered a stolen vehicle on 122nd Street, and they issued several disabled parking violations. They also continued to monitor the alleyways to ensure the alleyways were not obstructed, and reported several code violations to code enforcement. A quick review of the crimes. There were 28 Part 1 crimes reported in the 3-month period. There were 3 thefts, 1 theft of a decal, 1 robbery, 10 shoplifting, 5 thefts from businesses, and 8 vehicle burglaries. The number 1 crime was the shoplifting, and 8 of the 10 shopliftings all occurred in the ShopRite Plaza. That's between AutoZone, CVS, and the 99-cent store. So they're focusing a lot of time in that ShopRite Plaza to try and cut down on those numbers. 7-Eleven, which had been one of the other leading Part 1 crime generators, would only had 2 Part 1 crimes in the 3-month period. So they were very successful across the street at 7-Eleven. So they'll continue to work with the business owners and with the visitors in the area with crime prevention efforts. In the center part of town, for the same period from January 1st through March 31st, they conducted 691 business contacts. They performed 1,012 business checks and made contact with 1,132 people that visited the downtown area. And for reference, the downtown boundaries go from 6th Ave to 10th Ave, from 124 to 126. It's a little square boundary. It's pretty much the core of what you would think is the downtown part of North Miami. Some of the highlights: they conducted Segway patrol. They assisted with events at the Mocha, such as Mocha at the Jazz at the Mocha. They responded to an attempted suicide and were able to talk the person, and they received help. The officers working during the night stopped 2 reckless drivers, and both stops led to DUI arrests. So they were able to pull 2 intoxicated drivers off the roadway. And they responded to several traffic crashes on 125th Street to clear the roadway and expedite traffic down 125th Street. They also responded to several disputes between business owners and customers and were able to settle them on the scene. A quick crime summary: there were 4 thefts of vehicle parts, which were all decals and tags from cars. And that's something that we see going on citywide, where people will steal either the tag or the decal. So we've told people to get the screws that either lock in place or to cut their decals. Either one of those 2 really cut down on the tag and decal thefts. There were 2 vehicle burglaries, 3 thefts from businesses, 1 shoplifting, 1 stolen car, 1 burglary, and 1 theft. That was the crime breakdown for the 3-month period in the center part of town. The same thing, the officers speak with the business owners, and they relay the crime information to them and provide them crime prevention and crime hardening tips. To the Nomi Connect, Tommy's Shoes was the first business to go into Nomi Connect. We are now up and running with Tommy's Shoes. We can actually pull them up on the map of the city of North Miami. You will see an icon. We can click on the icon. They were a Comcast Smart Office customer. So all they had to do was tell Comcast to send their video feed to the city of North Miami Police Department, and we now have their video cameras. They have one that faces on the outside. It's actually inside, but it faces out the big plate glass window so you can see the parking lot. And they have a second one that kind of covers their back door. So you can see their back door, but you can't see out the back door. So they gave us both cameras. We really just wanted the one camera that faced out, but they opted to give both of us from Comcast. We're now going to work with Rasha, and we'll continue to market the Nomi Connect program and trying to bring in additional businesses. The easiest way for a business to come in, if they're a Comcast Smart Office customer, all they have to do is tell Comcast to send the video feeds to us. We have a small agreement that the business signs with the city. Once they sign the agreement, we send it to Comcast. Comcast will send the video feed to us. If they are not a Comcast customer, there's different ways they can go about sending the video to us, but they need to be Genetech compatible camera systems. And either they do it on top of their existing system or they add a Genetech compatible system. And we'll get into more detail and pass out some literature and everything else on how to do that. That'll be our summertime project. Now that school is out, we'll make that our summertime project, is the camera program.
That's great.
That is great. That is great.
License plate readers, yes. And license plate readers, we have a RFP that we'll be meeting with committee this week to go over. There were 3 vendors that had responded. We will select one of the 3 vendors and then go forth with the license plate reading program. The license plates are basically the cameras like a lot of other places have, Aventura, Miami Shores, Miami Springs, Coral Gables. They read the license plates that go by. They don't actually run the license plates. That's one of the big misconceptions. They run they capture the license plate and they compare it to a list of stolen or wanted cars. If the 2 match, they send us an alert to our dispatch center, and then we alert the officers. Or if we want to go back and look for historical purposes, was there something that happened in the area? Now let's narrow down the license plates that had gone past a certain point where the camera is reading the license plates.
That's a
At that
great,
point,
that's a great thing.
and then at
That's
that point,
really
we'd
a
run the
great
license
thing.
plates, but the system does not run every license plate that goes past
Right, right.
the camera.
Oh, no, I think that our police department is really doing a great job in some of the innovative things you guys are doing. And I know this downtown thing has, talking to just a couple shop owners, have said that it's great. It really has cut down on a lot of people hanging out and, a lot of, so I think it's enhanced it, so.
And that's good to hear. And the other thing, the police department entered into a partnership with Ring. So we'll be sending out stuff with Ring, which is the doorbell residential camera. Ring actually has a law enforcement portal now that if we send an alert, it'll go to everybody that has the Ring app, and we can draw on a map where we want to send the alert to. You'll get the alert, and then also you'll get an option to send us any video which occurred during that alert period, which will come directly to the police department. It won't be live like the NoMe Connect is for the businesses, but allows us to get more archival video and also send out community alerts. So it's basically a virtual crime watch.
Has the system you have at the police department, has it worked as you thought it would work? I guess it's too early.
The
I
NoMe
have to
Connect?
tell. Yeah.
The NoMe Connect is, we just had that one business in there that we're
Alright.
piloting,
Alright.
and in concept, it's working.
Okay.
Now, when we open it up to other businesses,
Yeah.
and we bring in, the more we bring in, the more effective the system's gonna be. With one business in, it's gonna have very limited effect. If we could get hundreds of businesses to come in, it'll be very effective. If you go online and look up Project Greenlight in Detroit, they were the pioneers for it,
Right.
and they have shown dramatic decreases in crime and also increases in revenue for businesses that joined Project Greenlight. And they've done some anecdotal studies to show that gas stations, if you had two gas stations on the same corner, the one that was in Project Greenlight actually showed an increase in revenue because people felt more comfortable going to the Project Greenlight gas station versus the other gas station across the street.
And it's about
Yeah,
having a branding, a sign that says, I am a member of NoMe Connect, or this one was Project Greenlight.
Correct, in
So
Detroit.
we're working on the NoMe Connect
Yeah,
logo.
I stopped at a
so
gas
we'll do-
station over the weekend up in Broward, and it had a sign under surveillance by the, was it Margate Police Department, I think.
And there's similar programs that are spreading across
Yeah,
the
I
country.
mean, it's a great program, and
Are
it
we
re-
the only one in Dade County that has
So
it?
far, yes, we are pioneering it in Dade.
That's great.
yeah.
That's why, we named
Well-
it after the school.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much,
Thank you.
Chief. You guys are doing a terrific job, just a terrific job.
And,
Okay.
just the last item is to announce that our final mobility hub, workshop is Thursday, June 14th at 6 o'clock. Then, they will be working on the master plan, and then they intend to bring it to the committee and the board, in September. So that was it. Next month, July, we do have a meeting. There's several other items that we need to bring up. One of them is like the mural presentation. I discussed it the last time. This agenda was too full, for me to put it in. But July will be our last meeting before recess. And then in September, we'll be meeting on the budget presentation and also the mobility hub, master plan review.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Okay, any public comments? Yes, Kevin?
Congratulations to Mr. Sanchez on his
Retirement, yes, yay.
But not from the city, though.
Yeah, no.
Kevin Burns, 2065 Alameda Drive. I'd like to thank all the work that the CRA staff has been doing for the community and so forth, because they do a very good job, very underfunded and undermanned or underwomaned. They need more help. I'll put it that way. But I have to say, I have to concur with Clark's frustration. If you notice, everything that comes in front of you is individual property owners that are making the investment and making the changes in this city. And as a city, it's very difficult to get the wheels moving and to get things done. And then, the bond issue, a lot of people put the hopes into that. But it is frustrating after 11 years that we don't have one major singular project that we can refer to. And it is frustrating because we're always studying and studying. And again, recognize that it's the private development that is moving everything forward right now in this city. And it's also frustrating, and you as a CRA advisory board might be able to chime in on this, is that people say, we want redevelopment, and then the minute a project gets before the city council, not in my backyard, oh, no, it's too close to my house, I don't want it. And so people have spent a year trying to bring new redevelopment projects to the city, and they get killed, or the council people panic. And so maybe you all need to back up and encourage the council that you believe in the redevelopment of the city. And, not everybody's gonna like everything that comes before us, but we just cannot continue to say no to every single item and every single new development that comes for the city, because I'm out here every day, we have a horrible reputation still about not approving projects. And people say, listen, Kevin, I'm not, I know you love the city, but I'm not gonna spend 6, 8 a year, $20, $50, $100,000 doing plans and blueprints and talking to everybody, and then get before a council and get shot down. And it's just continuously over and over and over again. And so it's getting very frustrating out there. And, look around us. North Miami Beach is going crazy. 79th Street, east of Biscayne Boulevard, you can't touch the property now. And now from 79th Street to the railroad tracks, it's just all blowing up. It's all really redevelopment. And so we need to make sure that we support what the city wants to do, but also you do as a board need to keep the city's feet to the fire, and enough with the planning, enough with the studies, because you can study something to death and never ever get anything done. But again, I just wanted to put a shout out for that. The CRA staff is doing a very good job. You guys volunteer to do what you need to do, but don't let the frustration get to you, and especially when you start getting people like Clark that gets very frustrated, then we're heading down the wrong path. So I feel for you, Clark, and I understand exactly what you're going through. And so
Well, there was a recent meeting at the Beacon Council, and basically one of the people there said that downtown, and all those associated projects are going to be up to 79th Street.
Oh, yeah.
They're buying property, so downtown is moving northward. And the problem is, a lot of the developments are skirting around North Miami rather than coming
People
into
are
North
scared to
Miami.
death of coming to North Miami. They want to, but they're scared to death to do it because of the getting bogged down in the paperwork, the approval, the processes. And it's just, some is self-inflicted because they come in unprepared, but others are prepared and they want to come in and invest their money. But they're, you get 4 or 5 residents up here, even though the developer follows the rules and follows the guidelines, 2 or 3 residents screaming, the council will say, no, we'll back up, we'll defer it, and we'll talk about it again. One of the other things, just want to mention about the camera light program, which is great. Maybe as people who are applicants, who are renovating their buildings, maybe you can do an incentive that you give them an extra $1,000 or $2,000 while they're renovating their building on Dixie Highway or 125th Street, if they participate with the Comcast, with the cameras, and let the police department say, hey, we want a camera set up here, and do that. Give them an incentive while they're doing the renovation, and do it maybe for the next 20 people, 20 businesses that might spur that whole thing on, and so that's just my 2 cents. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
I have a comment before my continue. We have like 11 years that we don't do anything.
Well, we do something, but.
But let me say something for the record. Of those 11 years, 4 of those years belong to Mr. Kevin Bear. He didn't do nothing either. Right, Kevin?
You did funny.
It's true. It is true.
It hasn't changed in the last 50 years, honey. They've always said no to everything that comes before them.
Exactly.
Always.
That's it. But now, when you are outside, you can criticize the other.
I've lived here since
Okay.
66.
Um,
I haven't seen anything.
Any, yes, ma'am?
Really quick. I wanted to add, hello, my name is Sophia again, and I wanted to add on the last comment, we will be more than happy to add to the police screening on our building, on our corner. So if that's, if we could include that budget, if it's not now, if it's in the
Well,
future,
talk-
but it's no problem.
Talk to the chief.
We will be more than happy to add that into our building, even
Okay.
even if we have to do it.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
I say what I have to say.
any old business? Any new business?
I have a question. When is the CRA conference, the annual conference?
It's October every year.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
good night, everyone.
That was-